Hi friends, Maga Supreme here coming at you guys with another reading. So for today's reading, I decided to do something a little bit more light, a little bit more fun. Um, I really feel like the energy is like pretty much stabilizing. So I just decided to do a really fun pick a card, uh, just to lighten things up. So for this pick a card, this will be about your hero's journey. Um, So the hero's journey, for those of you who are unfamiliar, is pretty much like the story of your life, in a sense. It's about the central theme of your life, what spurred you to like really start to get into action in your life to transform it, your lowest points, and pretty much like where you're going to be at the end of it. This reading is like really meant to be like really, really fun. But I do get the sense like it's also going to be pretty deep as well. And if you guys know me, I like my readings nice and deep. So for pile selection for this reading, I decided to use a full card for a certain number of my decks. I've only have 4 piles here. So we have 4 different full cards. So for pile 1, we have this full card here. Let me make sure I have it in the camera, nice and centered. Yeah, we have this full card here. For pile 2, we have this beautiful full card. For pile 3, we have the traditional Rider-Waite full. And for pile 4, we have the Cosmic Slumber full. So take the time out to feel which one of those full cards really speak to you and speak to your intuition, so that way you can pick your pile. And with that out of the way, we'll be getting into pile 1. So if you picked this full card from the Samira May Tarot, then this reading is for you. This is your journey. So let's begin. So for this particular spread, I have like a fair number of cards because I really wanted this to be as comprehensive as possible. So I can get as much information and much of a replete story as I can. Let me make sure that I have everything in frame. Yeah, I think you guys can see all the cards. I can't see what you guys can see because my phone holder is blocking most of my view. So I'm gonna just trust that I'm doing this right. So pile 1. The first thing that I saw about your journey with victim being a central theme here, and victim talks about prevent you from letting yourself be victimized or victimizing others. This has a lot to do with like your self-worth and your self-value and your self-esteem. Your life journey is all about like transmuting like those heavy energies, like through your interactions with people and like really your interactions and self-talk with yourself. This is your journey has been a lot around like centered around your emotions and your self-worth and self-value. You could be someone that felt outcasted by like everyone that you know. You could be the black sheep of your family, or you can just be someone who other people just seem to like, look as a mark. And when I say look as a mark, it's like, you probably someone that was like pretty ripe, a prime target for bullying as a kid. Maybe other people see you and think that you're like, you soft, they can do this and that to you because your energy is very gentle, very light. I really get the sense like with the victim card here and even with the rest of these cards here, because we'll get to all of these, even with the rest of your cards, like this really tells like a real life story, like of someone that's just like, of someone that was like really just like hurt often in their life. And they had to learn to like really stand up and be themselves and like really learn to like, there's a lot of forgiveness, a lot of learning, and a lot of like growth here. And this is the biggest thing that I got from here. It's like this whole thing, your whole path, your whole journey was about growth and like really standing up for yourself. But I can tell that it wasn't easy, and that this was very emotionally challenging. Your life has been very emotionally challenging, Pile 1. So for the call to adventure, which is like pretty much what spurred you on to undertake your healing and the change, we have laughing and crying and alchemy. And I had to pull these two cards out together because they give a complete story. You were really you really started to allow yourself to like feel your life. The joys, the highs, the lows of it. Laughing and crying really talks about like allowing yourself to express your feelings. And oh, I'm sorry, I was calling this alchemy, but this is actually the Scry Mirror card. They look pretty similar. But with laughing and crying and Scry Mirror, like you really just decided, now this makes sense too. Because you decided to like really look inside yourself and really decide like what is it that you're feeling. You really started taking personal inventory of yourself. Instead of allowing yourself to be victimized by other people and feeling like a victim all your life, you decided to look inside yourself and like really just learn to like find the good and the bad in your situation. That's something that I'm seeing here very clearly. You started to look for the good and the bad in your situation, not just seeing the bad. You refuse to allow yourself to just be a victim. Yes, you refuse to allow yourself to just be a victim, to just be another sad story. And this is like really strong. This is a lot about personal empowerment. Your journey, what really set you off on your journey to transform and to become yourself was a sense of wanting personal empowerment. So one of the biggest things that I'm getting here as well with the Scry Mirror is that you really did have to learn how to connect to yourself. Especially since we have the Retreat card here. The Retreat card is like coming towards like the end of your journey, but I'll get to that. But the fact that it's here means that I can't ignore its energy. You really learn to look inside yourself, Pile 1, and to really come into the essence of who you are. A lot of introspection, a lot of like really trying to find your path in life, and a lot of like, yeah, it's just a lot of like introspection and just like really deep emotions. Like I can't escape this. Like this is a very deep and emotional path and journey that you're on, Pile 1. As someone who don't really feel their emotions all like that, this will be a really tough path for me, and personally. Like there's a lot of like having to feel yourself, and then a lot of forgiveness that needs to be done, because this was the beginning of your journey, was the forgiveness. Like I really feel like you came to a point to where you just had to like really forgive yourself for allowing yourself to feel the way that you felt, for allowing yourself to be victimized and feeling like a victim. But you also had to forgive the people that tried to victimize you. Like this isn't easy. I'll say that by any means. Like even though this is at the beginning, I got the feeling that it took you a very long time just to get to this point here, to just the beginning, to the threshold. Like I get the sense that you were stalled here for a very long time. You learned to feel your emotions, and then as you've gotten older, you learn to look inside and like really try to transmute that energy and really try to like become greater terms of it, come to this in better terms. I really feel like at this point you're much older now. Like here in this point of your journey, the beginning, you're much older now, and with the Scry Mirror, you're just looking back on your past. Yeah, you're healing your past, and that's what a lot of this was about. Finding your empowerment, finding your power that was left in the past. Ooh, I like this. I like this a lot, Pile 1. This is a very deep and emotionally wise journey that you've been on. You were pretty much like bullied, left out a lot when you were younger. When you got older, you realized how that stuff was affecting you, how your childhood and how your traumas was affecting you. And you decided to look inside yourself and forgive yourself, to heal your inner child. and to like really allow yourself to move on. I like this journey. So some of the challenges that like came along your way once you like really started along this path to forgiveness was, one, finding your path. The key card talks a lot about finding, like, it's all about like your path, your not really your destiny, but about finding your path in life. Like really finding out that you have a key and what hold that it fits in. It's number 33, which is a master number, which lets me know like this part here, this particular challenge, it took you a very long time to like really like understand, like really finding out what is the true path to forgiveness. What does forgiveness look like for you? You know, this challenge is one that came a little bit later in life. Like directly after like you decided to like forgive and introspect. So at this point with the key card, you're definitely much older in your journey, and you're just deciding to like really just find out what's your way forward. What can you do? This is very intensely healing and intensely spiritual. I'll read the point of the key and see what I get from it. Yes, opening or closing opportunities, wishes, and a new beginning. The key symbolizes a way out of the situation, a solution to the problem, a new perspective or phase. It means the right choice made on the basis of personal experience. This card deals with the key question that influences one's life path. It can symbolize this closure of secrets or the need to be honest in achieving goals. In a negative aspect, it means that there's no way out. The solution is delayed or is simply the wrong way. And this is more so like being challenged. Like you had a really hard time finding the right path in your life. Like I said, what does forgiveness look like for you? What is the way out of this victim behavior? I mean, this victim mindset. Finding a way out was like a really big challenge for you. And I see that here because this required a big mastery over your emotions, a lot of wisdom, and a lot of knowledge to like even begin to find a way out, the true path to forgiveness for not only yourself, but for the people that victimized you. With the birds card here, this tells me that like your relationships with people, your communication with people was also a really big challenge in your life. Like I get the feeling like this is more towards like the beginning and like middle of your life, like the early portions of your life. This and the mice card actually. The mice and the birds were like more towards the beginning of your life. The birds card symbolizes communication between like, you know, close friends, lovers, also like through text messages and emails and things of that nature. It's basically the card of communication. And with the birds being here as a challenge, like you really had a hard time not only expressing yourself to other people, but really receiving what other people were saying to you, because it was you always felt like they were victimizing you, they were teasing you, or they were just trying to come against you. And with the mice card here, that could very well have been the case, because the mice card here as another challenge depicts thievery, people lying, people stealing from you, people robbing you in a sense. Like you were really challenged by other people. Yes. Your communication was challenged by other people. Other people really didn't give you the proper love that you wanted. This was a very, very lonely path. And the way to forgiveness is like very, very tough. Yeah, it's very tough. I'm gonna pull some tarot cards here to get a little bit more like information on this path, on your challenges here. I wasn't going to use any tarot cards, so I'm only bringing them out if I need clarification. So yeah, your personal power. The Queen of Wands came out in the challenged area. Like, yes, the Two of Wands, your vision, your path. Yes, 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 yes. This is very clear because the Two of Wands lines up with the key about like really planning your path, like trying to find a way out. Yeah. But the fact that two wands showed up in the challenged area lets me know that this is a big like affront to your personal willpower. Like you feeling empowered in your life, you feeling like you have control, that you can do, that you can achieve. That was very, very challenged and very much hindered in your life. A lot of people stole from you, stole your personal power. And you had to find, yeah, Seven of Wands. You got all three Wands cards. Yeah. Yeah, pile one. It's all about your personal power. Hitting at the bottom, the Ten of Wands. I'm gonna pull that out as well. Yeah, Power One. You were very challenged in the area of your willpower, your personal power, and like really just like learning to express who you are and your self-expression. You consistently had to defend yourself from other people, or that just seems to be like a running theme in your life with other people coming to harm you, whether it's emotionally, physically, financially, mentally. Or either way, there's always a challenge with other people and even with yourself here with the Queen of Wands, and even within yourself, like really trying to really feeling powerful, feeling worthy, feeling beautiful. You really had like a really tough life that's filled with like very challenging interactions with other people. So Power 5, here's your lowest point, the Abyss. Here you have the card Debilitated. Since this is like literally a brand new deck, I don't really know what this means just yet. When I see the Debilitated card, and this is an astrology deck, Debilitated talks to me about like having a placement somewhere that's in a house that is not very comfortable in. Like maybe having, I think like maybe Saturn in the first house, like having like either like Scorpio or Aquarius in like in your first house, like an ascendant or something like that. Or maybe having Moon in the 8th or the Moon in the 5th house or something like that. Having a very challenged placement here, giving you a feeling of discomfort, like you're not really, that you don't fit in with your life, that, you know, that your life isn't your own or wasn't meant to be yours. And the crazy thing is that the Debilitated card is number 1 and 4, which makes 5. And here we have Mice, which is 2 and 3, and that makes 5. So this lets me know like this was definitely a big area of challenge for you. So I'm gonna read the Debilitated card for you guys, because like I said, this is a new deck for me. If you put a well-organized city dweller deep in the wild woods, they'd be accidentally debilitated, out of their element, and pushed to live up to their potential. They may be uncomfortable, but the situation offers a chance to stretch further and develop the soul. This is exactly what's been happening here. The same goes for a planet and a sign of placement that's awkward with its nature. What was I saying? Okay, Keenan, you're pretty good. For example, Mercury is the least mercurial when it's in Pisces, opposite the sign Virgo, which it rules. Here, Mercury can bestow a great mind, but in an intuitive, integrated, imaginative way, not a mind to escape in purely intellectual pursuits. The challenge here is whether you're an artist among the engineers or a linebacker among the ballerinas, you may struggle to apply your talents in this situation. In these moments, it's easy to slip into self-pity and to self-doubt. But the gift that you found while you were down here was that you were being challenged to grow in ways you can't predict. You're being asked to diversify, stretch, and strengthen your weak muscles. Only you can decide if it's time to take that challenge. But this experience also encourages you to love yourself in the quiet moments and to appreciate what you bring to the table even when nobody else notices. Yeah, you had to really learn to like love yourself. Like you really felt out of place in your life. And this is like your lowest point. Like at your lowest point in your journey, you felt out of place. You felt uncomfortable, like you didn't belong, like no one noticed you. And this is like very close to like the energy that drives people to suicide. I wouldn't be surprised if you did have suicidal like ideology. I don't know if you attempted. Hopefully you didn't, but this is definitely someone that would develop a suicidal ideology just from the sheer oppressive energy that's like completely here, constantly having your energy affronted and challenged by other people, not really being noticed for your accomplishments, or other people just trying to downplay your accomplishments often. Get into the sense of like really having to find a forgiveness in yourself and really allowing yourself to like really feel that way. Man, this was very tough, Power One, and I feel that. So your final transformation, which is like the transformation that's leading up to like where you should be like closer towards the end of your lifespan or towards the end of this journey, because I really don't think like your journey is something that can happen all your life. I just think it is something that happens most of your life. Because in the end, the hero returns home and he lives a life. His life goes on once the movie cuts off, you know? His life goes on. So this doesn't have to be your entire life summed up here. This could just be like a big significant portion of your life that's being summed up here. But closer towards like the end of like this journey, towards the end of closing out this theme in your life, was the retreat card, the cave. You finally decided to like really retreat inside yourself, to really like introspect and go within. And that's what I was saying here with the scry mirror. Like once you decided to like retreat inside yourself, to really assess and take inventory of your personal life, of how you've been feeling, of like your experiences, and really allowing yourself to like really feel, really putting yourself in this cave here. Because I really feel like this girl looks like she could be like, even though she has her foot in the water, I really feel like she'll be nestled up next to this bear in this cave. Like I get the strong sense like this was a moment of solitude. Once you were old enough to like really be away from other people, and I really feel like this is you as an older individual. Once you were able to like really have your own place, have your own stuff to like really sit down and process in a safe space, in a place where you felt comfortable, you were really able to take personal inventory, take stock of your life, and to really like retreat inside yourself and get a deeper understanding and deeper knowledge of your life, to really find a way to like really truly understand, like to forgive yourself for your past and to like really reconcile it. You really took the time out to do that, and that was like leading to your final transformation. So now the person that you're going to come out as after like this final transformation is someone who can lie back, rest, and relax. Someone, from watching Klaus, I get the sense like, you know, you're just so happy that this is over. Like, you're so happy that it's over. And if this is something that continues to happen in your life, with you being challenged by other people, you don't really take it to heart anymore. Or at least that's where your journey is leading you towards, if you're not there yet. You don't take it to heart anymore. You just allow what may be, and you stand in your own personal power. You affirm yourself. I'm looking for my Sacred Traveler book. Oh, here it is. Here it is. You allow yourself to like really lay back, rest, and relax. You're no longer stressing over this. You're no longer allowing like these situations, these people, these negative, malignant energies to like really get to you anymore. You found your own island, your island of sanity, I'm hearing. Your own place of solitude and rest. I like this a lot, Pile One. This sounds like a real story. I'm glad I did this reading. Okay, I'm gonna get back to what the Sacred Traveler wants you to know. There are times when the most empowering thing the traveler can do is step off the path, stretch out, and lie on the earth to watch the clouds float by. This act is renewing and regenerating. When all the activity of the road diminishes, the traveler allows a languid relaxation to emerge. This is most often a time where the presence of spirit can be felt. Yes, with that retreat card, it's all working in tandem here. This is also a time when significant signs appear. Whatever is the most relaxing to you, stretching out in a hammock, watching clouds, taking a candlelit bath, or walking on the seashore, do it. And the challenges in your life will diminish and often simply drop away. You learned a coping mechanism at the end. This is what this is telling me. You learned a way to cope. When things start getting rough, when things start getting hard, you learn to sit back, rest, relax, disengage from the world for a second, and to bring yourself back to you, to do something that you enjoy, to celebrate and love on yourself. And that's very, very powerful, Pile One. Not a lot of people can disengage from like their trauma or disengage from their life that way to find their own island of peace and sanity. But it was a necessity for your path because this life is very challenged. So if this isn't where you are yet, this is where your life is trying to lead you towards, Pile One. Towards where you can just like learn to just like disconnect for a little bit and just get back to you and like fill yourself and fill up your own cup. So let me get a little bit more clarification on this watching clouds on the return here. Oh, yeah, we got the Devil card. really learning to like disengage from like all this negative energy. What was I saying? Disengage from this negative energy, to get away from it. Find something that makes you happy, not to allow it to get into your ear. Yes, to find something that makes you enthusiastic, makes you excited to live, and like brings like a sense of renewal, allows you to feel young again, to bring that energy out of yourself, of happiness, of enthusiasm, of optimism is what I'm hearing, of optimism. Then we have the Ace of Swords, a place where you can bring you to a place where you can bring clarity into your life, where the divine can bless you. Yes, where the divine can bless you, where Father Spirit can bless you, to renew your mind, to renew your mind and allow you to reconnect to yourself in a wholesome and happy way, to allow you to reconcile your past, reconcile what's been happening, and bring you back into the energy of joy, of happiness, of divine balance, with the Temperance card here. Yes, with the Temperance card. This is a very, very beautiful reading, Pile One. Like, towards the end of this journey, you're gonna have your tools to fight against like these devil energies. Your divine tools to fight against the devil energy, to reconnect to yourself, reconnect to your childhood in a better way. Like I said, this is about healing your inner child, because I get the feeling like this heavy, oppressive energy was prevalent from like your childhood to teen years, and maybe even until you were a young adult. And now the later half of your journey is going to be about forgiving yourself, because like I said, this part here, the beginning threshold, I felt like it didn't happen till much later in your life if you're an older person. Really learning to forgive yourself, to look back on your experiences and to like heal them, to see them from a different perspective, and to really learn that you matter, that you know, you can sit back and rest and relax and cope with your life if it becomes too much. You don't have to be a victim, Pile One, and that was what your whole journey was about. Not allowing yourself to feel like a victim, but allowing your trials and your tribulations to empower you, to force you to grow and to change. So yeah, Pile One, if you enjoyed this reading, please leave a like, a comment, subscribe if it resonated, share the video. If you guys want to support my channel, the links to do so is in the description. You can donate a deck. You can book a reading with me. There's a lot of things that you can do, and all the things that you can do to support my channel is there in the description box, Pile One. Thank you so much for your energy. This was a very fun reading, and please be blessed. If you chose this Fool card from the Wandering Star Tarot, then this reading is for you. So let's take a look at your life path, your hero's journey. Pile Two. Make sure everything is in frame. All right, Pile Two. The theme of your journey is the mystic, rebels in intimate union with the divine. So your journey, Pile Two, is one of a spiritual empowerment and spiritual enlightenment. Yes, Pile Two, you could be like someone that had to learn to like step into their spiritual power, to really learn what it means to be connected to spirit. This could be, yeah. And I really felt like this was a challenging path for you. Like, I feel that very clearly. This was a challenging path for you. I felt like you were someone who was scared of their gifts, Pile Two. Someone who, or if you wasn't scared, you were just confused. You didn't know what was going on, and you thought that, you know, you were just like losing your mind. Yes. You felt like you were losing your mind. I see the story here, pal, too. I can't wait to get into this. You were really meant to, like, in this journey, you were meant to come closer to God, like come closer to source, feel more connected to the universe and not so connected to the matrix. Because I get the strong feeling that you were someone that was like heavily connected to the matrix. You could have been an atheist. You could have been someone who just like, you know, just like stuck to the shallow end of the pool in religion. You know, someone who just like went to church at once a week and thought that was enough. Like you could have just been like someone that just wasn't really exploring the vastness that the divine, that Father, Spirit, the universe has to offer. And you were set along that path to do so. So this was your call to adventure, your call to set down this path with something that is never truly yours and in between worlds. I feel like Father had to take everything from you. Like you were probably someone that was like well accomplished. You probably like had a good job, a lot of money, but then all of a sudden you started to feel unsatisfied in that job, or started to feel unsatisfied with the money you were making, or maybe the money you were making started to get stripped away slowly but surely. All of a sudden you started accruing more losses than wins financially, and your money just started to slip and dwindle away. This was meant to bring you into an area of transition here, especially with In Between Worlds being number 55, 2 5s. This was meant to bring you into a point of transition in your life where you can go from being more materialistic and 3D to more spiritual. And this was the call that was given to you. And I feel like you didn't have a choice. You didn't have a choice in the matter, Pile 2. You're more like the reluctant hero in this journey. Yeah, you're the reluctant hero. You were so comfortable. You were fine in your life. Everything was okay. And then everything was okay until the Fire Nation attacked. Like all the nations lived in harmony until the Fire Nation attacked. And now you have to step up and be the avatar in your life. Like, you know, you didn't want to be the avatar. You were happy just living in your temple, enjoying your friends, having fun. But now you had to answer to a higher calling. And it was scary, it was confusing, and it was something that you definitely didn't want to do, but you really didn't have a choice in the matter. And I really feel like, because this was like the threshold right here, the next card is the beginning of your transformation. And it started to be in your relationships. Like part of this something that was never truly yours. Aside from money, I really felt like people started to leave your life as well. People started to betray you. Like a lot of people started taking off their mask. I really felt like this was like Neo in the Matrix, realizing that the agents can infiltrate anyone in the Matrix and take over them and come after him. And this is exactly what happened. The people that were in your life started to manifest as agents in your life. And they started to take from you, damage you, steal from you. If you're a man, it definitely could have been your wife that like started doing something like this. Like, you know, once the money started going away, you know, she left. Or like, you know, your family started giving you less support. There's a lot of stuff here, and we'll get into that when we get to the challenges here. So yeah. With the relationships, like I'm attracted to those who serve my highest good. Like that was something that you really had to like go out and like really search for and be on a quest on. Like who are these people who in your life can support you? The mentors, your helpers. And part of the hero's journey is like once they go through this threshold, they have helpers, guardians, and mentors sent to them. And I really feel like at this point in your journey here, once all those people who was never truly yours started to leave and reveal themselves and like stab you in the back, you had to go and find more authentic people in your life. And that was like the beginning of your transformation, finding what's real and what's not. Yes, waking up from the Matrix, finding out what's real and what's not, who's with you and who isn't. So the first challenge that you had here is represented by the Sun card. And Lenormand, the Sun card represents like optimism, is happiness, is passion. Like the Sun card is like the best card to get in Lenormand, because even if there's a lot of negative cards around it, the Sun card always lessens the energy of those. And what I get here is that you had a hard time finding the light. Like your biggest challenge once you like went through your awakening. What is that noise? I don't know. It might just be water. It's just screeching. Could be the birds as well. But anyway, the biggest challenge that you had was like finding the light, Pile 2. Like really just finding your optimism, finding happiness in your life. You had a hard time finding the sun because everything seemed so bleak, so dark, and so awful. I'm getting a particular person for this reading. I'll see if he watches this, but we'll see, because I'm picking up on a very particular person for this reading. You had a hard time finding the optimism, and even with the Rider card here, you had a hard time walking on. With Rider and Lady, these two usually paired together usually tells me that this is someone that's like very good with the ladies, very good with the women. But then that started to be even that started to be a challenge with you, like really just starting to I'm sorry, I saw a text message that distracted me. I'll get to that in a little bit. Like really just started to like dating and like going and things of that nature that really started to become more of a problem for you because, you know, you didn't really have the money anymore and you were going in between worlds. And this can be that especially true if you're a guy, because trying to date as a guy with no money is like virtually impossible. You know, women don't really be trying to mess with someone who don't have anything to bring to the table. So I can understand that. That was a very tough moment here, and that was another challenge. But the Rider card also, I can find a deeper meaning in it. So let me read the Rider. It's about news, visits, travels, and movement. The card brings important news. The neighboring cards highlight positive and negative aspect of this news. The Rider card may signal the way out of a future solution figure the way out of a future solution to a disturbing issue. This card predicts fresh ideas, business activity, new beginnings. In any case, it indicates that something will soon rush into your life to bring change. And this was a challenge. Like, you felt like that you didn't have anyone in your life to bring you good news. I see it. There was no good to be found, especially with the Sun card showing up here in Rider. You were really miserable, Pile 2. You were really, really miserable, having everything like stripped away from you and having to transition from a more material life into a more spiritual life. You were very miserable. You did not like this. And I have a feeling that you went in kicking and screaming. Like, this was not an easy path and not an easy journey for you. And the hero's journey is never easy. It's meant to challenge the hero. It's meant to expand them, and it's meant to grow them. And having a spiritual awakening was very, very challenging for you, Pile 2. Now, the Lady card always represents like women in your life. It could be a mother, a sister, like just someone that, you know, you can really, just like an important lady or important woman in your life. And with that being a challenge there, like I said, it could have been like if you're a man, like your wife started to turn on you once everything started to go left. Maybe your mother thought that you were crazy because everything started happening. You started spouting the spiritual mumbo jumbo, like almost on instinct. Like you really felt like really challenged in that area. And women in particular were not very supportive. They were a challenge in your life. Yes. Whether you're a man who was trying to date them, or like your wife left, or if you're a woman and, you know, other females probably started to like look at you weird, probably outcast you from their groups or things of that nature. Either way, something here around the energy of woman and like feminine energy. It could also be like actually coming to grips with your intuition here, because the lady could just represent feminine energy, and feminine energy is your intuition and your connection to the divine. That could have also been something that's been challenging, that was challenging for you as well, Pile 2. Learning to connect to your intuition and learning to be in your feminine energy. That could have been something else that was like very, very challenging. Trying to learn how to master your gifts and trying to learn how to step into and harness your power. That could have been a real challenge for you as well. Like actually trying to figure out what it was. I keep seeing Neo. This is like heavy Matrix vibes. Like really just trying to figure out what your power means and how to access it and tap into it. So at your lowest point, you had the Gemini card. Now with Gemini being at the lowest point here, this lets me know like You wasn't someone who was a deep thinker, Pal, too. You wasn't a deep thinker by any means, by any stretch of the imagination. Like, you knew a lot, you had a lot of knowledge, but you didn't have deep knowledge. You didn't have wisdom. You didn't have wisdom. You just had a lot of knowledge. And having to step into like the spiritual life, I had the feeling like there was a lot of learning that had to take on. You had to learn to like stop and slow down your energies, to calm your mind, to get out of your head, because the Gemini is very mercurial, and this is more so spiritual. And it's really hard to integrate mind with spirit, because they kind of run counter to each other, and it takes a truly brilliant person to mentally see signs of the spirit in their life, and to really be able to like rationalize it with their mind. And this was something that was really stuck with you. Like, this is like your lowest point. Like, you just felt lost. Like, you had no knowledge, that you didn't know what to do, and that you didn't know what was going on, Pal, too. I'm going to get some more cards to like really help explain the energy of the Gemini at your lowest point. I think this is the good spot to pull out some tarot cards, because I want a little bit more on this as well. The High Priestess. The Two of Pentacles. Let me try to bring these into view. Make sure that you can see them. I know there's one more that want to come out, right? These cards are brand new. And the Nine of Cups. And you have the Knight of Pentacles on the bottom. Yeah. So with these 4 cards here, at your lowest point, like I said, you had a real hard time connecting to your intuition. There was a lot that you had to learn about yourself, and a depth of spirit, and a depth that you had to go to. Like learning to follow your inner voice. And here, on the High Priestess card, I don't know if you guys can see it, but it also says wisdom. Like I said, you were lacking in wisdom. You had a lot of knowledge, but you didn't have wisdom. And you had to sit down and learn how to listen to yourself, how to develop wisdom, how to learn things on a deeper level and not just the surface level. Not saying that you wasn't smart, but you wasn't wise. You didn't have like the deeper knowledge. You had to sit down, study, and learn. You had to learn to like how to bring in harmony and to balance these energies in your life, to balance your your intuition with your mind, to balance knowledge with wisdom. There was a steep learning curve here, and and it really affected your happiness on a really deep level. Like I said, you were very discontent for a very long time with this path. Like, this is like happiness, vitality, and optimism and joy. And this, at your lowest point, you were devoid of these. You didn't really have it. It was tough for you to find happiness, to find this Sun card energy. That's why this was a challenge here. That's why the Sun came up as a challenge. You had a hard time being optimistic about your future and finding everything. I really felt like you were like going alone and feeling like you were going out of control and losing your mind. You were losing money, losing friends. Family was probably turning on you. This was a very harrowing spiritual awakening. You had a tough awakening because you were so used to money, so used to the matrix. Like with the Knight of Pentacles here, the prosperity, the benefits, the things that you worked for, you were so used to it. And all of a sudden it was like stripped away and gone. And that's why you had such a hard time with this pile too. This was not an easy thing for you. But, something came through for you in the end. The divine showed himself. And this is what I got here. Your Morpheus came, and all of a sudden, like when you were faced with the agent, and you had to like put up or shut up, it was time for you to wake up your power and fight, and you chose to fight and stand your ground. This is when everything shifted for you. These two cards represent like your final transformation before like you become the person who you were meant to be. And here, this was a purification of your energy. All those doubts, fears, and things of that nature, you finally cleared. Like, this is really big Matrix vibe. Like when Neo was shot and he was almost killed, but then he got up and got the bullets out of his body and then learned to stop them. This is the purification process. All his doubts and all his fears like were washed away by holy water. And this is what happened to you. All your doubts and fears were like suddenly removed and you awakened. Here with the bell, awakening, you were awakened. You woke up to your power, and you were finally able to really communicate with the divine, to harness the power and find the goodness in having a union with the divine. I'm gonna pull one tarot card for this part as well, but it's very clear to me. You woke up. All of a sudden, everything started to click after so much like toil, doubt, and just so much anguish. Like, I feel so much pain in this pile. Like, this was a lot of confusion. It was very, very harrowing and very, very scary. But yeah, you lucked up. Let's see, the King of Wands and the Ace of Cups and the Sun. So first card that you had was the Three of Wands. This lets me know, like, you found something came across your path. Like, and for me, I feel like that was enlightenment, that awakening came to you. All of a sudden, you felt wisdom. Yes. The King of Wands is wisdom. You found it. You awakened to deeper, to spiritual knowledge. You awakened yourself. And if you're a male, then you know this is definitely especially true for you, because this was probably a really hard path for you. But you awaken to wisdom. You learned how to like really find honor in your path. Oh my God, I love this. Like, you really learn to like really accept yourself and accept the path that you're on, pile 2. You learn to accept your path and to walk down it with dignity, with wisdom, and with motivation, and with honor. You welcomed in this new beginning. You started to stop resisting and you surrendered to the divine. And the divine blessed you with a gift, with a new beginning, with probably even with like a renewed relationship with it. Because I see the relationship card, but if you're still single, then it was the relationship with the divine himself. Like, you really learn to like come into balance and come into harmony with him. On the top of the deck is the Two of Cups. I didn't pull it out, but here's the Ace of Cups. Like, you really learned to step into a deeper balance and harmony with yourself. You were gifted a divine blessing. You were blessed with the wisdom that you needed, with the energy here. And here's the Sun card finally showing up at the top. Showing up at the top. The Sun card represents light, life, and energy. You found the light. You awakened to it. It came, it helped. It helped guide you. It allowed you to wake up and cleared your doubt. It brought you purification. The purification brought about a new beginning, because that was a blessing from the divine. You finally learned to like accept your union with it and welcomed it into your life. And then finally, at the end of your journey, because this is the return, like this is your new normal. And your new normal is stepping into your power, knowing that you are strong beyond measure. Like, if you are watching this could be where you are today, pile 2, knowing that you are strong beyond measure, and knowing that you have a powerful connection to the divine, that, you know, you're connected there. You have an intimate union with the divine. You guys talk, you speak, when you meditate, you can hear it. There's a lot of things that's like really going well in your life, because you learned to like, you went through such a harrowing process. And I really feel like a lot of the things that you lost during your awakening are being added onto you in even a more healthy and stronger way than it ever was, pile 2. What a beautiful journey. So pile 2, if this resonated for you, please leave a like, a comment. And please leave a comment, because I want to know. If you want to support my channel, all the links to do so is in the description. If you want to donate money, you can do that. Donate a deck. I have my Amazon wish list in the description box. And if you want to book a reading, the way to do so is there as well. Anything that you want to do to support is completely and totally welcomed. Thank you so much for your energy, Pile 2, and please be blessed. If you chose the traditional Rider-Waite Fool card, then this reading is for you. So let's see your hero's journey, Pile 3. I'm loving this reading so far. I'm glad I decided to do this. This is like very fun, very freeing, and very creative. Like I'm really hearing like very good stories here. I'm loving it a lot. I'm super glad I decided to do this. All right, so Pile 3, the central theme around your journey is the Healer card. This is the passion to serve others by repairing the body, mind, and the spirit, ability to transform pain into healing. Now, the biggest thing here, Pile 3, is that what I got here is that you had to learn to find a way to manifest and to use your healing energy and what it meant to be a healer. When I seen this card, the first thing I got was like your powers just like sort of activated. Like you didn't know that you had this power, but all of a sudden this was something that you can do now. I got like more like a superhero story. Like if someone like was like born into like a super family and they never knew, then all of a sudden they inherited these powers that they knew nothing about. Like that's the biggest thing that I got here for you, Pile 3. You were a healer and you never even knew it, but something happened to like trigger you to like realize that you had power, and so you had to set out on this journey on figuring out how to use it, what's it for, and what it means to you. And this is like something that I really feel like that's happening, Pile 3. Like figuring out what it means to be a healer in this day and age, what it looks like for you, your particular healing methods, and like really just figuring out what it is that you want to do. So your call to action was gifts from the past. Like I said, you realizing that you have this gift, like was something that really spurred you into action, that really woke you up. I feel like, because unlike Pile 2, who was like really reluctant to step into their gifts and really didn't want their power, I felt like you were extremely happy to know that you had this sort of power, Pile 3. I felt like you were someone that really wanted to go out and help and heal the world on an intrinsic and deep level. And then when you realized that you truly had the power to do it, you were happy. Like you were, a sense of freedom washed over you. But I do get the sense here, like part of the challenges that you faced, Pile 3, was that, you know, maybe other people kind of thought that, you know, you were a little bit weird, a little bit on the outside. Like, I know every life have its challenge and its obstacles, but I really felt like Pile 3 is such an upbeat, such a light and powerful energy that even though you faced obstacles, you were pretty much able to overcome them pretty easily because you had a strong faith, a strong desire to serve, and a strong desire to help. And as long as you have those, God is there for you. I'll tell you that right there, right now. God will be there. And I get the feeling like he was there for you in your life. Like you wanted to go out, you wanted to help, you wanted to serve. You were very much in line with his mission, with everything that God stood for. Because you could very well be a light worker, Pile 3. You could be a very powerful light worker, maybe a shamanic healer or something of this sort. But God was there for you all throughout your life, Pile 3. I felt like the obstacles that you had to face were very, very minor. And you were like, I'm not to diminish like the harshness of it if it was hard for you anyway. But I just felt like in a grand scheme, you had very minor problems compared to what the other two piles was going through and what I've like seen here. Like your walk wasn't that hard because you were heavily heavily supported by the universe in your entire life, whether you knew it or not, Pile 3. So the threshold, like your beginning change, the thing that prompted you to begin your transformation was freedom. I possess the power and the free will to create my own happiness. Once you realize that you had a gift, you realize that you were free. I got the sense like maybe like your family was like kind of like discouraging of you in the beginning. Like maybe that could be something that was like very, very tough here, like not having a proper support system here with the tree representing a challenge in your life, not having a proper support system, not having like the proper roots to do your work. You know, stability could have been a big issue in your life. You couldn't have been like so well accomplished. You could have just been someone that was like very spiritual, very up in the clouds, and didn't really have much in terms of like physical achievements. Yeah. But either way, Pile 3, you were free to do what you want, and that spurred you on your journey. And like I said, with the tree here being the first card that came out for your challenges, and this is being a 5 card, this was like a big transformational challenge for you. Realizing that you had no roots, no stability, nowhere to do your work, to do your practice. And it was like really, really tough for you. You could have been in a relationship and like really had a lover or something like that that really wasn't that committed to you. Another thing here, Pile 3, is that you could have just had a hard time finding love in your life. Like maybe your love life is very, very challenged. Like there has to be a drawback somewhere in your life, something that has to challenge you somewhere. And I really feel like it was like around stability, around love, and around masculine figures in your life. It could be a father, a husband, brothers, or just like men in general. Like you were very challenged in the area of stability, with love, with physical, financial security. This is like where your biggest challenges lied, Pile 3. But I'm gonna pull some tarot cards, some tarot cards on like your challenges, just so like I can get a better idea of like what's going on and what's happening here. So let's see. Ooh, the 8 of Cups. Yeah, you probably had to walk away from a lot of relationships once you realized your power and you started like growing and becoming closer to the divine. You had to walk away from a lot of things that didn't serve you and a lot of people that wasn't really supportive. Yeah, the 5 of Pentacles. This was your challenge. Be it feeling alone in your path. And that's always a thing for light workers and star seeds. Feeling alone and like they don't belong in the world that they're in. And I really feel like that's the challenge here that you had. Not too much in the way of romantic prospects, not too much coming away in like physical, financial activities. You really had to learn what it means. Yeah, not much coming your way because you had the Ace of Pentacles in the challenge. Not much coming your way in terms of like stability and opportunities. Like you were developing like more like an Ace of Cups, like a strong connection to the divine, really becoming closer and closer with your gifts. I felt like you were eager to practice, eager to learn, and eager to do the things that you wanted to do. But you were always challenged by other people. There's a lot that you had to sacrifice to walk along this path. A lot of people that came and rose up against you that kind of didn't believe in your mission, didn't believe in you, and that you had to like really fight for your own self here, Pile 3. I feel that very strongly. Like your path was one of loneliness. That's what it is. It's loneliness. That's what you had to go through, feeling alone and feeling abandoned in this world, and probably not really too financially stable. Because here at your lowest point, we have, because these 2 cards represent your lowest points, we have the midheaven and the ascendant. The ascendant energy is like how you look to the world and how the world perceives you. You probably had a hard time with like your image. People probably thought that you were weird. At your lowest point, they thought you were weird. You were like out there. You were not someone that was very relatable. And that's something, and that probably attributed to this 5 of Pentacles energy of you feeling alone and not really seeing too much opportunities coming your way. Because believe it or not, a lot of opportunities come your way when you can like connect to other people. But that was a really big challenge for you, connecting to other people. You was always at odds and contention with them or them with you. They didn't really, I'm gonna just be honest, they didn't really bang with you like that. They didn't really like you, Pile 3, because you had 555 here as well. This was like a very challenging transition for you. you were free to do what you want. You was with the light, but you realized that that the darkness was very prevalent in this world. Okay. Back to the superhero journey. You had such amazing power, but you just realized how messed up the world was once that power came to you. And you really seen the depths of your mission and what it really entailed. Yeah. Okay, that's the same thing that you get a lot with star seeds too. Once they really start like realizing and stepping into their empathic abilities, they start to realize just how heavy and oppressive and dark the world is. And a lot of them start to shrink away from their abilities, shrink away from like their mission, because they just start to lose hope and faith in their mission, because the darkness is so prevalent, so strong. There's so much strife and contention in the world. And, you know, the people they don't really have much of a support system, and they're standing alone. It's really tough for a lot of star seeds and light workers to like really get started on their mission, because they can get lost in despair before they even begin. And I feel like that was something here, because with your midheaven being at your lowest point, the midheaven is the highest point of your life, the pinnacle. You haven't hit your pinnacle. You don't know what it looked like because you never really had stability or anything in your life. Only thing you knew ever since your abilities awakened and you decided to do this path, and you probably knew about your powers for quite a long time. You probably knew about your powers for quite a while. You could be older. But the biggest thing here was that you never really felt achieved. You never really felt accomplished in your life. And that was like something that was like really, really dragging you down. Do I want to pull a tarot for this one? I'll give one card for this, for your lowest point, because I really felt like I touched on it and I felt that energy very clearly. But I'll just get something like to add a little bit of spice to this, you know, a little bit of flavor. So let's see. What card do you want to tell me about Pile 3's lowest point? The Ten of Wands in reverse. Like, it came out that way. I opened my eyes and here it is. So I can't change it any which way. The Ten of Wands in reverse talks about like how being overwhelmed by burdens. Normally it could be about like, you know, proper delegation or anything like that. But with the Ten of Wands in reverse already being a challenged energy, and there's challenged energy coming out in reverse for like your lowest point, I really felt like what I was saying was true. You felt overwhelmed by your mission. At your lowest point, you felt overwhelmed. Like it was too much for you. Yeah, here it is. The Nine of Wands. Right at the top, right underneath right next to the Ten of Wands. You felt overwhelmed and beaten and defeated by your mission. You felt like there was no way that you can do this thing, that you can come out here and bring light and try to heal the world. You felt like that this mission was much bigger than what you are and that you didn't have the power. Ooh, you didn't have the power. Yes. They told me to bring out the Hermit card. You really felt like that your light wasn't bright enough, that, you know, at your lowest point, you were just like really to yourself and by yourself, really solitude and alone. And that was like something that was like really keeping your light from shining at the brightest that it needed to. But the thing is though, like I pulled the Nine of Wands. The Hermit is a 9 card, and the midheaven is 36, which is 3 plus 6 is 9. So you have a 999 here. But the thing about 999 is that this is like right at the precipice of change. This is like right on the precipice of the 10. Like you went through this, but you was going through this period for a reason, to really find like your modus operandi, your reason for doing what you're doing. Like this lowest point served a great purpose in your life. Like the hero's journey, the lowest point serves like the great purpose. This is the abyss. This is where you come back out and have your rebirth, your biggest transformation to date, so that you can turn into the person that you're meant to be. And this was meant to challenge you in like such a strong and powerful and sacred way, feeling like you can't really do your mission. Because right here, the last transformation is the cone of power. You finding out and realizing that you do have the power, that you are strong enough. Only thing you got to do is just focus that power, believe in it, and use it properly. But the cone of power here, with the swords, the pentacles, the wands, and the cups, You really learn to like really pull yourself together on all aspects, on all fronts. And probably from this deep introspection that you were going through at your lowest point, you ended up finding your light. You ended up finding your power and not letting it be extinguished and snuffed out. You really learned how to utilize yourself, utilize your energy, and you stepped out into the world bigger and brighter than ever, Pile 3, and ready to